Do you suffer from burning acid reflux every single day and it's giving you anxiety about the foods that you can eat? If that sounds like you, today's video is going to give you 10 possible things that you can do to give you instant relief from that burning and discomfort. Today we're going to reveal 10 tips that you can use to give you some instant relief from that burning and discomfort. And don't forget to stay, number 3 is super important. Let's get started with number 10, peppermint. Now, peppermint can be fantastic for people who are bloating in small doses, but it's not so clever when suffering from reflux. A study in the Journal of Gastroenterology showed that peppermint oil can actually relax that lower esophageal sphincter, and sometimes that allows acid back up into the esophagus, causing that burning. But not everybody reacts the same way to peppermint, so if that's you, I would be careful and I would try it maybe with some peppermint gum to see how you respond. If it makes your reflux worse, that's probably why. But if it doesn't have an effect, you could probably get away with it. On a side note, chewing gum can be really useful to help acid reflux because you increase the salivary amylase, which helps you break down some of your food, making the digestion through your system a little bit easier. Number 9, use the 5-10-15 rule to improve your digestion and prevent reflux. This was a rule I picked up from my good friend Owen Lacey at the Irish Strength Institute in Dublin, and it starts with 5 deep breaths before you eat. This puts your body in what we call a parasympathetic or a rest and digest state, and we're going to talk more about that in a minute. But 5 deep breaths will put you in a nice calm state that you can digest your food. Then you want to put your knife and fork down 10 times, and that's to chew. Remember, your stomach doesn't have teeth, so once you swallow, that's it. And if you don't chew your food properly, your stomach has to work much harder, and all the other digestive organs have to do the same. And finally, you want your meal to last at least 15 minutes. Now, this is a really important one. If you eat really quickly, not only will you overeat, it is a real strain on your digestive tract. So what I normally recommend my clients do is set an alarm for 15 minutes and try and slow down your meals. Number 8, don't consume too much water while you're eating. Now, previously there was a myth going around that when you drink water, it will dilute your stomach acid. And I don't think that's true. In fact, I've actually seen some science to say that when you drink water, it actually increases the gastric juice inside your stomach. But from a real world perspective, working with thousands of people to fix their acid reflux and their bloating, I find that small sips, often while you're eating, is probably better than gulping down large volumes of water before or during your meal. Number 7, don't slouch while you're eating. A study in the Journal of Dental Sciences in Japan showed a change in tongue pressure while slouching. This is especially important for people who suffer from problems of silent acid reflux like difficulty swallowing, lumping throat sensation, or like a globus sensation in your esophagus. If you suffer from any of these problems, we call that a silent acid reflux. And if you're bending over and slouching while you're eating, you could possibly make that worse. Number 6, make food more attractive and chew. Digestion begins with the eyes and the nose. The more colorful and vibrant you can make your food, the more amazing you can make it smell, the better your digestive system will be. That salivary amylase, which is an enzyme that helps you break down carbohydrates, is produced by the glands inside your mouth. And when you smell food and see food, those glands release that amylase to help you kind of pre-digest your food, which makes all of your digestive system work a little bit easier, and therefore can help improve symptoms of reflux. And as we said before, you must chew. The molars at the back of your mouth are used for crushing food, which is helpful for your stomach to digest the remaining foods. And as we said before, you need to make sure you chew your food properly. The stomach does not have teeth, and if you swallow food that's not been fully broken down properly, it's going to make everything harder. When you have acid reflux, you don't need your stomach working overtime. You want to make it as easy as possible for the digestion to occur. Number 5, hara hachi bu. Now, hara hachi bu is a Japanese phrase, and I apologize to any of my Japanese followers because I have certainly butchered that phrase, but it means eat until you are 8 out of 10 parts full. Not only is this a fantastic way to prevent overeating, most reflux is actually caused by low stomach acid, not an overproduction of acid. And when you have low stomach acid and you eat large amounts of food, it can be really tricky for your stomach to digest. That's because that lower esophageal sphincter, whose job is to keep acid inside your stomach, doesn't close properly unless you have sufficient acid inside your stomach. So if you have low acid and lots of food, it's more likely that sphincter is going to stay open with the acid coming back up into your esophagus, causing that burning sensation. Number 4, don't eat too late. Now, if you're someone who suffers with acid reflux, you probably figured out already that eating late in the day causes you reflux. But here's why. As the sun goes down, your digestive processes reduce. In fact, your digestion is best first thing in the morning because your acid production and your enzyme production is at its best. As the sun starts to go down, your digestive system slows right down because you're getting ready for sleep. If you eat a large meal in the evening, especially when it's dark, and especially if you go to bed too quickly, that is going to cause you a lot more digestive issues as the food sits inside the stomach and isn't digested as efficiently as when you have it earlier in the day. One phrase I like my clients to remember is breakfast like a king and dinner like a pauper. Number 3, activate your rest and digest state. Now, we touched on this earlier. You have 2 states of your nervous system. The first is called the parasympathetic dominant nervous system, and this is a state of rest and digest. Now, for the most part, you want your system in a rest and digest state. That is going to be easier for digestion to occur. You're going to get more stomach acid production. You're going to get increased pancreatic enzyme production, and it's going to make your overall digestion much, much easier. On the flip side, we have what's called the sympathetic dominant nervous system, or what is more likely known as the fight or flight system. This is the complete opposite state you want to be in when you're eating. Imagine running away from a lion. That is a sympathetic dominant state. And at that point, you wouldn't want a steak dinner because most of the blood is in your extremities and not near your digestive system to help you digest the food. A couple of things that I like my clients to do to enter that rest and digest state is 1, take 5 deep breaths before you eat that we spoke about in rule number 2. You can gargle or you can sing, and both of those will stimulate the vagus nerve, and that will put you in more of a rest and digest state. Number 2, adding HCl and pepsin. HCl or hydrochloric acid is similar pH to the acid produced inside your stomach. Now, pepsin and HCl or hydrochloric acid work together in that first stage of breaking down your food that occurs inside your stomach. When you're infected with bacteria like H. pylori, it can reduce the acidity of your stomach by increasing the body's pH, and that causes all levels of digestive issues, including acid reflux. With my clients, I like to add in HCl and pepsin only after I've ruled out H. pylori with, for example, Pylopurge, because you wouldn't want to add in extra stomach acid if you're worried about H. pylori, because then you could get an ulcer. Another time you may want to use HCl is if you're going through a period of stress to prevent infections like H. pylori. When you're going through a stressful period, your body actually reduces its acid production because digestion is not that important in a scenario like that, and therefore you have an increased chance of catching things like H. pylori. And finally, using Swedish bitters. Similar to the way HCl works, or hydrochloric acid, bitters will stimulate the release of gastric juice and enzymes and stomach acid to help you break down and digest your food. Gentian root is one of my favorite herbs that I like, but I actually like products that contain gentian and HCl and pepsin because you know me, why use one thing that works when I can have 3 things that work? There's always a synergistic effect when you use multiple things to improve your digestion. So that's definitely something I use with my clients when they need a little bit more stomach acid to help digest their food and help prevent acid reflux. Hopefully this video was helpful. Please like and subscribe so you don't miss out on any future videos.